Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found this series on mental fitness. Last week we talked about saboteurs, which are those negative mental patterns that hijack our thinking and keep us stuck in fear and stress. If you haven't watched that episode yet, I recommend going back to watch it. And there's also assessment you can take that's free with it to identify which saboteurs are actually doing the most damage in your own mind. So, whether you've taken the assessment or not, I hope you'll find today's video valuable because we are going to talk about practical tools that actually help you shift out of those negative patterns in real time. Here's what I want you to remember: the negative voices in your head are not you. They're just deeply ingrained thinking habits that we picked up along the way. Here's the amazing news: habits can be changed. Awareness is the beginning, but now we need to learn how to fight back. The tricky thing with saboteurs is they're sneaky because they feel like they are so productive. Hyperachiever convinces you without the constant pressure you're just going to be lazy. Controller insists that if you don't micromanage everything, it'll all fall apart. Your judge swears that constant criticism keeps you motivated. Sound familiar? They've got us believing that they're the reason we're successful, the reason anything gets done. That's the trap. Saboteurs will push us to achieve things, but we haven't counted the hidden cost. They leave us feeling stressed, anxious, never satisfied, and push us to achieve from a place of fear instead of joy. We're getting things done, but missing out on actually being present for life. Our family feels the tension. Our work suffers because we're operating from stress instead of creativity, and it's just robbing ourselves of joy and peace in the process. It's like if we're driving with the parking brake on. Yeah, sure, we're still going to move forward, but we're working way harder than we need to and burning out our engines. Honestly, we could go much faster and smoother if we just released that brake. We waste so much energy. It's exhausting us and everyone around us with the constant stress and urgency. Let me show you what this actually looks like in daily life. So, say you're hosting a book club this week. You've been looking forward to discussing the novel that you picked and you really loved it. But as the day gets closer, your saboteurs fire up. The house still isn't clean enough. I should have made something homemade instead of getting store-bought cookies. What if nobody likes this book I picked? Sarah always picks better books than me. I think they're only coming at this point because they feel obligated. Our body responds like there's real danger. Chest tightening, mind racing through everything you should be doing differently. Instead of enjoying the morning with friends, discussing a book you liked, you've gone straight to survival mode, convinced that imperfect hospitality equals social failure. You're so stressed, you can't even enjoy your friend's company, the very thing you were looking forward to all week. Or maybe your 22-year-old calls from college and he's thinking about switching majors again in his senior year. Your judge immediately fires up. He's never going to graduate. We've wasted all this money. Why can't he figure it out? I have failed as a mother if I can't have a child that can make a single decision and stick with it. So instead of hearing what's behind his call, maybe he's discovered a passion, maybe he's scared about the future, maybe he just needs to process with someone who loves him. You're stuck in mental crisis mode, turning his exploration into evidence of failure. You're damaging your relationship in a moment where a calm, present mind could actually strengthen it. You get so stuck in your own stress, you miss the opportunity to empower him and strengthen your relationship. That's your saboteurs hijacking your brain, convincing you there's a crisis when it's really just everyday life. So the question becomes, how do we break these automatic patterns? How do we interrupt the saboteur spiral before it takes over the day? Here's what we learned last week. It's daily practice that builds the new neural pathways. It takes lots of reps to make this new way of thinking our default. Just like we can't go to the gym and expect to be fit once, we can't do mental fitness work and expect our saboteurs to disappear. Let me share the good news with you. Your brain has this incredible ability called neuroplasticity. Fancy word, simple concept. Your brain can literally rewire itself. Scripture says we can be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Turns out God designed our brains with this exact capability. Think of your thoughts like walking through a field. The first time you're pushing through tall grass, making your own path. But if you walk that same route every day, eventually you've got a well-worn trail. That's what your saboteur thoughts are, well-worn trails in your brain. Your judge has been telling you you're not good enough for so long. There's basically a superhighway in your brain for that thought. It's automatic, it's fast, and it feels true because you've traveled that route thousands of times. But here's the hope. You can create new pathways. Every time you choose a different thought, you're literally building new neural trails. The old ones don't disappear overnight, but they start to fade when you stop using them. And as those fear-based pathways weaken, you'll notice your relationships improve. You'll have more peace, and you'll actually start enjoying your daily life again. So what we need is a simple, practical tool that we can use in real time when our saboteurs show up. That's where PQ reps come in, and they're simpler than you think. Our brain has two main regions competing for control. There's our saboteur brain, fear mode, stuck in past regrets and future worries. And then there's our sage brain, present moment awareness, peace, operating from love, not fear. Every time we do a PQ rep, we're literally rewiring our neural pathways, strengthening our sage, weakening our saboteurs. We're training our brains to default to peace instead of panic. Now, I do want to be clear. Positive intelligence is not a Christian program. But as a person of faith, I found that it aligns beautifully with what Scripture teaches us about our minds. Paul tells us to focus on whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure. But how do we actually do that when our saboteurs are screaming lies at us? Notice what Paul doesn't say. He doesn't say, whatever worries you, whatever could go wrong, whatever you need to control, whatever people might think of you. It sounds ridiculous when we say it out loud, but that's exactly how most of us operate by default. Think about the Israelites and manna. God could have given them a month's supply, but he chose daily gathering. Why? Because he wanted to keep them focused on the present, dependent on him today, not anxious about tomorrow. God is shifting us out of scarcity thinking and into present moment faith. PQ reps help us practice this biblical principle of staying present and trusting God's provision instead of spiraling into managing everything on our own. Here's why this works. Our senses can only operate in the present moment. You can't feel yesterday's texture or hear tomorrow's sounds. When we get present and engage our senses, we literally interrupt our brain's ability to spin stories about the past or spiral into anxiety about the future. So let me walk you through a PQ rep right now. Let's step out of thought and into sensation. For the next minute or two, just give me your attention, play along, fully in the here and now. All right, so close your eyes and just take a deep breath. You can even put your hand on your heart, your other hand on your stomach. Breathe in deep and hold, and then just slowly exhale. And I want you to do that 3 more times. A deep breath in, hold at the top, and an even slower exhale. Focusing on your breath. Thoughts may come in your head, just let them go on and focus your attention back on your breathing. And then settle your breath back to its normal pattern. Let's pay attention to how our body feels in our seat. So feel the weight of your body, the gravity pulling down on it in your seat. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your neck, sinking down in your torso and the weight of your body down in your seat and your glutes. Feel down your legs all the way down to your feet on the floor, and just feel the floor underneath your feet. And it's really normal to have thoughts coming in your mind. We're not used to this. Just come back to the physical sensations. Keep redirecting to the physical sensations. Now I want you to take your hands and I want you to do like you're washing them in the bathroom with soap, and you're just going to slowly spin your hands around each other and just feel all the sensations of touch. We never stop to focus on anything like this. Just around the back of your hands, under your fingertips, across your palms. Just such light touch. And then pause and listen. What is the farthest away sound you can hear right now? Focus on that sound. What is that? Isolate it. And now switch. What is the closest sound to you? Could be the hum of an air conditioner. It could even be the sound of your own breathing. And when you're ready, I want you to go ahead and open your eyes back up. Can you feel that shift? Notice the calm of your mind from this place. That is the power of a PQ rep. Throughout your day, you can do shorter versions of this, just 10 seconds of any one of these. So this may seem insignificant on its own, but let me share with you how the compounding effect of building the skill plays out in real life. Listen to what happened to me this week. I was in the parking lot, headed to the gym, when a lady backed out of her spot and T-boned my car. Honestly, my first reaction was exactly what you'd expect. My victim saboteur immediately fired up. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this happened to me again. Then hypervigilant kicked in. Great, now I'm going to be without my car for weeks while it gets fixed. We're going to have to juggle having only one car again. This is the 4th time this has happened to my car. But here's what's different this time. Instead of getting stuck in that spiral, I was able to catch the saboteurs and think, oh, that's my victim. There's hypervigilant. And just naming them took their power away. I did a quick PQ rep with a few deep breaths. I got present in my body. Within 10 seconds of impact, I shifted from hijack to sage mode. Yeah, it's inconvenient, but everybody's okay. I could handle the insurance process. I'd figure out the car situation. So instead of operating from panic, I was able to be the calming presence in the situation. Here's what blew me away. A witness to the accident actually came up to me afterwards and said he had never seen anyone respond in that way in a situation like that. He was amazed at how calm and centered I was. And that's when it hit me. The reason I could shift so quickly is because I've been practicing this with the small things. When you do PQ reps during traffic jams and spilled coffee, you build your neural pathways that serve you when the big things hit. Literally. I have built internal stability despite external circumstances. That is the power of this practice. You don't need external circumstances to be perfect to have peace. You can be anchored in something deeper. And when you're anchored like that, your relationships thrive, situations flow more easily, and you model peace for everyone around you. Okay, I realize this might sound too simple or too good to be true, but that's the saboteurs talking, trying to keep you stuck in what's familiar. But what if it's really this straightforward? What if you could break free from the mental loops that have been running your life? Here's what I discovered. Awareness and these tools to shift in the moment are incredibly powerful. You can absolutely start practicing PQ reps on your own and you're going to see real changes. Even just catching your saboteurs and naming them will make a noticeable difference in your daily life. The difference for me was having a framework to practice this daily to create a more sustainable, lasting change, the kind that builds the new neural pathways and becomes my new default. But start wherever you feel called to start. I have the tools to take you as deep as you want in this work, but my goal is to help you build awareness and start practicing the skills. You are in charge of your own journey and how fast you want to grow. If you completed the assessment and you're curious about what a structured approach might look like, I'd be happy to chat with you about it. I am offering discovery calls for people who want to explore what it could look like in their life. No expectations, just a conversation about what feels right for you. All right, so here's your homework for this week. Start practicing PQ reps when you catch and name your saboteurs. That alone will be a powerful shift. Don't expect perfection. Saboteurs will try to judge your PQ reps too. This is stupid. This is not even working. It's proof you're onto something. Keep going. This is how we practically live out our faith. Not with willpower, but with practice. Not with perfection, but with persistence. Last week, we looked at step 1, identifying the saboteurs. This week, we learned how to quiet them with PQ reps. Next week, we'll move into sage powers, those incredible abilities you have when you're not operating from fear and stress. We'll dive into what becomes possible when you're thinking clearly, acting from wisdom, and actually enjoying the process. Trust me, this is where the real magic happens. Until then, get those reps in. Your future self will thank you.